The invisible wound, narcissistic manipulation, and the erosion of self. There is a kind of pain that does not leave bruises, a wound so subtle and invisible that it reshapes how a man sees himself, eroding his confidence, his clarity, and even his identity. This pain is not physical, it is psychological warfare. It comes in the form of manipulation, distortion, and emotional control. The shadow within. Jung's warning. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, warned that the greatest dangers to the human soul are not always external, they come from the shadow, the unconscious forces within us that, if left unchecked, manifest as destructive behaviors. In relationships, this shadow can emerge as narcissistic manipulation, a pattern of control so insidious that it convinces the victim he is the problem. This is the dark truth men must recognize. Some women, operating from deep insecurity and unresolved inner conflict, use emotional warfare not for love, but for dominance. The hidden agenda, control disguised as chaos. Narcissistic personalities thrive on control. Instead of fostering trust or respect, they create confusion. Disagreements are not about resolution, but about domination. The narcissist turns every conflict into a courtroom drama where the man is cast as the villain, too sensitive, selfish, unstable. Jung's projection. For Jung, this reflects projection. The unconscious parts of the manipulator are cast onto the partner. Her fears, insecurities, and unresolved pain are projected outward, making him carry what she refuses to face in herself. Emotional ambush. When conflict becomes a trap. In healthy relationships, conflict leads to understanding. In toxic ones, conflict is weaponized. The narcissist provokes emotional reactions, anger, tears, frustration, then uses these very reactions as proof of instability. This creates a cycle of gaslighting. The man doubts his reality. His genuine emotions are turned against him. He learns silence feels safer than truth. Jung described this as the soul being captured by another's shadow, the slow erasure of the self, the performance of justification, a never-ending trial. 1. Constant defense. Men caught in such dynamics often feel like they must explain, defend, and justify their every boundary or feeling. 2. Explanations are never enough. Each defense is met with new accusations, new cracks in reasoning to be exploited. 3. Psychological imprisonment. This is not dialogue, it is psychological imprisonment. Over time, the man begins to doubt whether his needs even matter. 4. Loss of instinct. He overthinks, overexplains, and loses faith in his instincts. This is the Jungian shadow at work, feeding on the victim's uncertainty. Independence as betrayal and blame shifting. Independence as betrayal. To the narcissistic mindset, independence equals rebellion. A man's individuality, choices, or preferences threaten her. Illusion of control. He is punished through guilt, mockery, or emotional withdrawal until he learns to shrink. Jung warned of this dynamic in his exploration of anima and animus, the inner masculine and feminine energies. When undeveloped, the feminine shadow can manifest as possessiveness, devouring independence rather than nurturing it. Blame shifting and the guilt trap. Narcissists refuse accountability. Instead, they externalize their chaos. Their message becomes, "You made me feel this way." The man becomes responsible for her moods, her anger, her unhappiness. This emotional outsourcing keeps him walking on eggshells, believing he must fix what was never his to hold. Jung would call this enmeshment, when one partner absorbs another's unresolved shadow, confusing boundaries and identity, sympathy as a weapon and boundaries as betrayal. Sympathy as a weapon. When caught in cruelty or betrayal, narcissists often shift to victimhood. Excuses are offered instead of accountability. "I was triggered. I was stressed. If you understood me better, I wouldn't have acted this way." This reversal silences the man's pain. His suffering becomes irrelevant while hers takes center stage. It is manipulation disguised as vulnerability. Boundaries as betrayal. Healthy women respect boundaries, narcissistic ones punish them. When a man asserts his limits, he is shamed as selfish or accused of ruining the relationship. But boundaries are not cruelty, they are acts of self-respect. The narcissist, however, interprets them as proof that she cannot control him, and that becomes intolerable. The projection reversal, calling you the narcissist. One of the most destructive tactics is projection. When exposed, the narcissist flips the script. Suddenly, the man is accused of being controlling, manipulative, or self-centered. This inversion isolates him, discredits him, and plants doubt in his own mind. It is gaslighting at its most vicious, a rewriting of reality. The psychological cost: slow erosion of identity, loss of self. Over time, men in these dynamics feel like strangers to themselves. They grow anxious, ashamed, depressed, even numb. Loss of trust. They lose trust in their instincts and withdraw from others. Jung's deepest danger. This is the deepest danger Jung warned about: the loss of self to another's unconscious shadow. The man is no longer living his own life, but existing within someone else's distorted reality. Breaking free, reclaiming your soul. Conclusion: you are not the problem. Narcissistic blame shifting is a slow erosion of identity. It convinces men that their truth is dangerous, their needs are selfish, and their voices are unwelcome. But the reality is clear. Your feelings are valid. Your boundaries matter. Your experience is real. Freedom begins not always with leaving, but with awakening. The first step is recognizing the pattern, naming the behavior for what it is, refusing to explain yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you. Jungian healing requires integration, reclaiming the silenced parts of yourself, your voice, your instincts, your joy. Boundaries must be restored. Peace must be chosen. The gray rock method, becoming emotionally unresponsive to provocation, is not about coldness, but about conserving energy and protecting your soul. Carl Jung's dark truth is this: when a person refuses to face their shadow, they will project it onto others. Some women, trapped in their own insecurity, use men as mirrors for their inner chaos. But you are not what they say you are. You are not the cause of their storms. And you do not need to live a life chained to someone else's dysfunction. You are allowed to be whole. You are allowed to choose peace. You are allowed to return to yourself, steady, grounded, and free,